The thing is, like, I don't think like anyone really cares if they buy Blizzard because, like you mentioned, Mark, Blizzard games are almost all exclusively PC anyways. So
Right.
Sony ponies and Nintendo bots or Nintendo fanboys don't care
Nintendrones.
about that. Nintendrones, because yeah, it's a great one. Nintendrones don't care because it's already just a PC game, and so if you're playing it, you're playing on PC anyway. So no one would care. This really only, in my opinion, all this shitstorm. Honestly, I really believe it's all COD. It's 100% Call of Duty. It's not World of Warcraft. It's not Overwatch, because those are already like PC games that people play on PC primarily. The issue is about Call of Duty, and that's shocking. And I do think that it's not just Warzone. Like, Call of Duty is the number one selling game of 2021, 2022, 2019, every year. It's the number one selling game for Sony. Like, and 70% of the copies that sell on a Sony console, from what I understand. 30% sell on Xbox. So it's not just Warzone, dude. It's like a huge profit.
But you got to consider this. Like, that's the retailer. You know, they're selling these brick and mortar copies. They're probably selling digital copies, but that's not where they make their revenue. They make their revenue from the battle pass in the game. So the battle pass, they want as many customers as possible. So, you know, you're right. They do make a good amount from the box sales, but they're not going to reduce their market of potential microtransaction customers because they have Candy Crush. They're killing it with the grandparents now. They got, you know, Call of Duty. They're killing it with the millennials. They pretty much have a little bit of everybody under their web. So I feel like everyone needs to just relax and just look at the facts. They want to keep making money.
Right. I hear you. I'm just saying that this is bigger than Warzone. Like, Warzone is where the majority of their revenue is once things have been purchased and sold and everything, but it's bigger than that. Like, so I mentioned like GameStop, like a big chunk of GameStop people coming in, a big chunk is Call of Duty. Like, if you can just get it on Game Pass, think about that. Like, that's a big hit because a lot of people drive into their GameStop to buy their physical copy of Call of Duty, right? It's like this is impacting more than just like Microsoft's revenue book. Like, this is impacting a lot of different markets.
You talk about just in the form of like the Xbox people, because I think if the shit still comes out on PlayStation and Xbox, that the people who got PlayStation, they still gonna go into GameStop and purchase it.
I disagree.
The only thing that's gonna matter is
I think if this is available on Game Pass, I think you're gonna see a lot of people play their COD on Game Pass and no longer on PlayStation. It might not happen immediately, but that's what will happen.
Maybe after a couple of years or something like that.
Xbox,
but I still feel like people would just spend the $70 to purchase the game on their console that they already have. Unless they have both consoles, you know what I'm saying? But like, you're gonna buy a whole new console just to get one game for free every year?
Right? No, I think it's like, okay, now I'm going to. So maybe you weren't before, like, okay, they got Bethesda. That's really cool, man. I wish I had Game Pass, but I'll stick with my PlayStation. Oh, now they got this. Oh, now they got COD. It's just inevitable. Like, it's going to become so valuable that you'll just end up, you know what? I'm just going to stick to Game Pass now as my number one gaming service.
So like, basically you're saying that Call of Duty is the reason to purchase a console then.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that is like the straw that breaks the camel's back kind of thing. Like, it's already got a lot of great things, so Call of Duty puts it over the top. That's one of a dozen reasons to get into Game Pass, but now that's the one now that's going to push people finally over to just sticking with Game Pass as their number one source of gaming hobby.
But I got a question for you guys though. So with them purchasing Activision and Blizzard, do you think they just keep the same catalog of games that they have, or do you think that they utilize the studio to create something new for their console, to give them some new type of exclusive or something like that? You know how like Bethesda has Starfield or whatever. But
I know on the Blizzard front, they're struggling to create anything. Even the remakes are kind of lackluster. Other than Diablo, that one was dope. So I would say on the Blizzard front, dude, I don't think so. And I think on Activision, they're just gonna keep making COD until we get bored of it, until it gets banned by the government or something, because they're making a tons of money. But I will say this about COD though. Every year, I know they don't release all the numbers, so we mainly have to look at the UK numbers and the international numbers. But COD every year sells a little less than it did previously. The physical and digital sales go down a little bit every year.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why
took a hit this year, last year, right?
Yeah. And the reason why is there's so many free-to-play shooter games nowadays. You know what I mean? So I would say that Microsoft is smart getting Activision because they're going to be making tons of money with very little effort. So
I think I agree with Mark Raya almost 100% that I don't think if it were that easy to just like do new things, then I think Activision Blizzard before their purchase would have been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think for instance, Blizzard is, to piggyback off Mark, like Blizzard, all their resources are going to making what they're making, and they have a hard time relaunching games even once every 4 or 5 years as it is. Like they have a really hard time because for one, they have a very high standard, and so they have a very high standard of polish.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, what does that mean? Like, so Arachnid Soul says that the main Xbox guy, so Phil Spencer, must have said that he wants to bring back old Blizzard IPs. With what resources does Blizzard have? So what game suffers to do that?
They got Microsoft resources now.
No, I mean like, so they're going to hire more people? Is that what you're saying? They're just going to spend more money to bring back old IPs? That doesn't make sense to me. Like you want to be as efficient as you can.
Or they
doesn't make any sense.
Use one of their other studios that they have and say, "Hey, you guys work on this."
But those studios are all doing something. But those studios aren't just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Like everything that Blizzard Activision has is doing something. They're all working on something, whether that be skins for COD, whether that be polishing up Hearthstone. It doesn't matter. They're all doing something. Like, so how do you bring back these old IPs? What suffers? Like, how do you rearrange? What suffers? And I don't think Microsoft wants anything to suffer. So I don't know. I just think I think it's going to be business as usual in large part.
I mean, I know a bunch of people quit Blizzard and Activision, within the last, few months or so. And this acquisition, I mean, they got money out the wazoo. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them fucking, making the shit, increasing the personnel over there at Activision and Blizzard.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
I would say this, guys.
They gotta bring it back to its former glory, right?
Hey guys, do you guys ever know like, a restaurant in your town that does good and then they get like roaches or they get shut down for rats, right?
Yeah.
They need to do something when they
fuck did I eat?
They need to do something when they reopen to bring people in. So I feel like this is their way of putting a sign under new management, and they're doing the same shit as they're doing before. But now in front of the storefront, they have under new management sign. So I feel like it's going to get them more buzz. You know what I mean? I feel like it's going to get a lot of people because Game Pass games are just so easy and convenient. We'll see if these get on cloud. But like Sir Nat was saying, it's going to be business as usual. A lot of the talent, the OG talent from Blizzard is long gone. They started their own studios. They're retired. So it's hard to find talent. You know what I mean? So it's not easy to make new games. So with this deal, I think it's going to be more of the status quo, business as usual. But Microsoft is collecting the check instead of Activision. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I feel like this is a revenue purchase because I honestly don't know how Phil Spencer's planning on making. He's going to go in there and tell them stop. No, just take some guys from the Overwatch 2 team and make, what is that Vikings game? Make that old Vikings game. It's like, what are you talking about? Like Overwatch is one of their most profitable games. Why would they take any resources from that? And why would you make anything that's great suffer? And right now, everything that Microsoft Blizzard makes is very, very profitable. So you're playing with fire if you want to go in there and rearrange. And then, I mean, if you're just going to hire new people, I mean, I guess, but that's not really Activision Blizzard now. You're just hiring new people.
I mean, you got to add people to the roster at some point. So it's still Activision and Blizzard.
Like, I mean, what I mean by that is that how is that any different than, okay, just buy 100 people and start a new studio. Then I mean, it's not really. That's what I mean. It's not
You ain't
like
got the
you're
name.
just gonna hire
You
new
don't got
people.
the name. The name is the big thing. You know what I'm saying? They
Yes.
paid all that bread for a name. That bitch was on fire, bro. Like that was not no like any other way to look at it. That wasn't any outstanding studio to
Yeah,
get.
that's one thing I can think of is
It's
what
just the
they'll
name.
do is they'll allocate these IPs to a different. Now that they own the IP,
Right.
they'll allocate it to a different studio.
That's what I would
Like,
think, that they start sharing.
not
They start spreading
Activision
wealth.
Blizzard is not going to be doing that. I think Activision Blizzard is going to be doing what they've already doing. And I mean, I think Phil Spencer came out already and said that they're going to be independently run like Bethesda is. They choose their next games, they pick their next projects, they make their own decisions on what they want to create. So
Yeah.
I think it's more so maybe taking these old IPs and maybe now that they own them, they can give them to other studios in their family to make.
Just gotta be careful with that shit, man.
You got to be careful, man. Like that's very touchy. I don't know. It's very touchy to think about changing anything.
Yeah,
It's business as usual. I think is the safest route.
Yeah, when you look at some of these other IPs, like taking like Fallout and stuff like that, you know what I mean, and having just like another group of developers work on the game and then release it, but it's under your umbrella or whatever, you know what I mean? Sometimes shit just doesn't add up, to the same as your previous game.
You got to be careful, man. Like when you bring in new talent or new people, because it's got to meet a certain thing that is Blizzard standard. So it's very difficult, like it's very difficult to duplicate that by just giving it to another studio or hiring new people and just having them make it. Like it's just a touchy situation. So I just see them sticking to business as usual. In my opinion.
Hey, Arachnid brings up a good point. He said that Microsoft saw that this would be the cheapest time for them to buy Activision.
Oh, of course.
And I agree. They bought the dip here. They saw the dumpster fire and they took it on, dude. So that's a great point. And
yeah,
it's a business at the end of the day. So they got a pretty good business for a cheap price because of everything that's going around, So
yeah, the one thing that I think is good about this is I think that this change, it's like Mark Rice said, under new management, that kind of makes you think like, okay, I can go buy World of Warcraft again and not feel like I'm supporting, this sexual assault
problematic
studio. Right? Yeah, this problematic studio. It's like I feel more comfortable now playing Hearthstone or giving my subscription back to WoW. Like that makes a big difference. That whole under new management thing. Yeah. And when the management, Phil Spencer, like he's a good guy. He is. He talks a lot with the community. He cares a lot about what his community thinks. They're a lot more open about being community friendly than Sony ever is. Like that is really good, really, really good for these games like that were on fire. And we thought they were going to go out of business. And actually, I think we're right. This is almost like the equivalent of going out of business, just selling yourself. So I think we were right because it didn't feel like there was any direction they can go but down.
Yeah.
And so and Sony, like you said, and Microsoft struck when the prices was lowest to get these IPs, really to get COD, in my opinion, to get Call of Duty. But yeah.
I love you, me.